Erica, so I want to move on to a little bit of college, well, more college basketball. But so as a female, African-American female coach, how did you feel, or how was it important for you to hear and see how the two Black female coaches, pretty much they met up in the state tournament?
The SEC? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That's just a proud moment in history. It just speaks volumes of what our race and culture has been able to do in basketball. It's just something that hasn't been done. And for me, being a Black female, me being an aspiring, I coach NAI, but let's be real. A lot of people have aspirations of being on the highest level. I'm not saying that I'm not capable of being on that level, but one day that level is for me. And for me to see two women that have been through being an assistant under white males, under white females, and then boom, now they're ablazing and they're the Black females that everyone is aspiring to be like. It's just something that you sit back and smile, and then you go, well, I don't even care who wins because we're winning as Black women. If
it's either a win,
it didn't even matter. It didn't even matter. And I know Coach Taylor. Who doesn't know Don Staley? I've actually had an opportunity to have a conversation with Don Staley at the NCAA Final Fours. And Joni Taylor was on a staff that actually recruited me out of high school, which is interesting.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And so for me to just see how much they've grown in women's sports, it means the world, because you got little Black girls saying, I want to be just like them. And so they have those role models to look up to. And it was just, I guess, I don't know what to compare it to, because I'm just that coach that wants to be on that level. So for me, it's just, I want to see what that feeling is like, because the SEC has done a tremendous job in college basketball with hiring Black females. They are the conference, I think they have the most Black female head coaches in women's college basketball. And so you're talking about the most dominant women's basketball conference in the country. If they have 10 teams, 6 of them are going to the tournament. You know what I'm saying? So it's dominant. And so to see 2 Black coaches make it, and then you look down the line and see that, well, boom, their conference is full of Black females. There's hope in this. So it definitely was something to look up to. And then with it being Women's History Month and it happening in this month, that's all you really heard about and saw and read on Twitter and Instagram and all the social media platforms.
And I think that is like super important, like what you said, like just being able to see that, because that's what Joni Taylor said in her interview, and we talked about it last week, Sequoia. Like, she said you can't dream like what you can't see. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they were doing. It was bigger than a news headline, a story headline. Like, they were letting Black women see what, like, letting them dream what they couldn't see. And I think that kind of like brings us into our next topic as far as like the WNBA. So according to USA Today, in 2019, almost 85% of the WNBA is the players are African American, while just 25% of the coaches are African American. That has changed because right now there's only one. I know there's more Black coaches, but there's only one female head coach in the WNBA that's African American. So I want to know, how important is it for the WNBA to hire Black female coaches, because we see you guys striving. So like, how important is it for the WNBA to do that?
All right, so let me. I don't want to change the topic, but let me go backwards, because we're talking about WNBA and I'm going to get there, but let's talk about college in that sense, because it starts there. Those high level individuals that are leaving college going to the WNBA, it's important to see more Black females on a collegiate level, because a lot of our young ladies are playing that sport. A lot of our young ladies are successful. A lot of our young ladies need to see success. Unfortunately, they see it in glimpses on a collegiate level, but they don't see it enough on a collegiate level. There should be a lot more Black women head coaches on the collegiate level. And I think that if that happens, then the WNBA picks that up. Because I honestly think that the percentage is probably equal because you got to think about it's a lot of college basketball teams. I want to say that percentage may, and this is something I don't mind researching, but I pretty much believe that percentage is probably equal from the amount of college basketball teams there are versus the amount of WNBA teams there are. We're talking at the time 25%. It's probably about the same on that level. And I remember at one point, every white male needed a Black female on their staff in order for them to be able to go sit in a Black female or a Black family's household, ensure that there's a level of trust sending my child to these particular schools. And I may be saying something that would probably never get me hired again, and I'm okay with that, because it is something that's true. There was not one coaching staff that came and sat on my couch at my mother's house that didn't have a Black person on the staff. They may not have been the head coach, but they needed to have that, I won't say token, they just needed to have that individual that understood the life of a Black child. Whether it's on the men's side or women's side, they needed to be able to understand that life in order to recruit that type of child. So now moving into the WNBA, it's very important. If we have over 70% or 60+% of professional athletes are African American, why wouldn't they want an African American as their role model? And I'm not saying that there are white Americans that don't do well coaching or can't coach or whatever that may be, but the ratio for me is off. There just needs to be more people for individuals to look up to. I mean, you can't tell me as a white American you understand the struggles of a Black American if no one was in your ear talking to you about it because you never went through it. So that for me says enough to where if I'm sitting next to my Black head coach and we understand what's going on in this world today, I'm going to be able to go and give you everything I need to be able to give you because you understand me and I understand you. And so I definitely think that there needs to be more head coaches that are reminiscent of us. One Black female. No, don't get me wrong. I couldn't tell you what it was like playing for a female because I never played for one. I mean, I can think the one that I played for, I never played for a Black female. I played for one female head coach, and she only lasted 3 months of my college career. She lasted 3 to 4 months. After that, I've only played for males. So, I've played for Black males though. But I've never played for a Black female. But I will say this. Like you said, it's nothing better than looking at someone that has been in your shoes, that can understand your struggles, your frustrations. I always tell my players, and I try not to be arrogant with them, but I told them, I said, hey, I'm doing everything. I've done everything you're trying to do right now. So if you want to make it in this world, you might need to do what I'm doing. And then at that point, once you've done what I've done, then you do more than I've done. And that's what will make you great. That's what I do. And they say, oh, coach, there you go. tooting your own horn. No, what I'm letting you know is I've done everything that you're doing. So if you need a role model, you might need to roll on behind me. I can teach you how to do a little something.
Absolutely. Look, speaking of, what is like your ultimate goal? Like, what is next for you? I know you coaching on this collegiate level with Paul Quinn. You've been there for a while now. What is like your ultimate goal behind coaching with that?
My goals change per the situation. I will say that. I have aspirations of being a college head coach of my alma mater, which is Fresno State. Don't get me wrong, I love Coach White and Coach Jamie. She's doing a phenomenal job, but I mean, that is where I learned who I am. And so, I mean, that's my aspiration. But since I've been coaching at HBCUs, I feel like my story is better told on those levels. So parts of me, my ultimate dream job is to be a Division I head coach at my alma mater. A dream job for me would be a head coach at a historically Black college on a Division I level. Because I've coached at several I've coached at two D1s, I've coached at 4 different HBCUs. And I feel like our girls need my guidance and support because I've been on the level of a PWI as a college basketball player. And I won't say that my sole reason for picking a PWI is because it's a better school. I honestly chose a PWI because no HBCUs recruited me. And I was top 150 in the country. So I will say, had one of them recruited me, had some of them given me more information, I may have been a slightly more intrigued because my whole family went to HBCUs. So I'm not knocking HBCUs at all, but they got an opportunity. One hired me. So for me and my growth in my career, I am blessed and thankful for HBCUs because I wouldn't be where I am in college basketball without that platform. But, my goals are my goals. And I just think that my story is better suited for HBCUs at times. And I just think that our young women need that kind of guidance, and they need a person that's going to be on them and love them all at once. And so, that's definitely a goal of mine. But being a Division I head coach is a goal of mine.
Well, I think it definitely will come. Okay, you are almost there. Keep doing what you're doing. But for real, before we let you go, Erica, and we do really, really appreciate you for being on with us. I do want to ask you about the comments that Shaquille O'Neal made to Candace Parker. Now, he made comments pretty much saying that if the WNBA was to lower their rim, more ladies would be able to dunk the ball. And that's what Candace Parker did not take light to that at all. Go ahead, Shanell.
And I'm saying, he was saying like that's what would make people interested in the WNBA. I completely disagree, but I want to hear you.
I have a couple of arguments that are definitely different reasons why I think males don't watch the WNBA. I think there are a lot of men that don't watch the WNBA because women cry when they lose. And men hate to see women cry. Now, y'all know I'm not lying. If you got a man and you bust out crying in front of me, he's gonna be like, "Why are you crying? What do you need? What do you want?" So for me, I think that's one reason why some males don't like to watch the WNBA. Secondly, people that are very supportive of the WNBA, they're gonna watch it. The problem is it's not on primetime TV. So we're talking about people that have to purchase NBA TV who may not have it. People that have to purchase these primetime channels in order to get the same love to watch women's basketball. So if it's on CBS, if it's on ABC, we're talking completely different. At that point, the ratings are going to go up because those channels are more available for individuals. Lowering the rim is a cop-out. That is something that a person would say just out of spite because of or whatever it is they want to see entertainment wise. I think the WNBA is very entertaining. It's full of fundamentals basketball. Anybody that's been around basketball for a long time, they are a fan of fundamentals. The NBA is fun to watch and awful to watch at the same time. It's only fun in the playoffs to watch. If you watch it in the beginning of the season, you see the dumbest stuff. You see these crab dribbles, these 3 steps.
Airballing foul shots.
Right, but as a basketball coach, I'm like, yo, that's a travel. Nobody's calling it. So for me, it's a lack of fundamentals. They bend the rules for who they want to bend the rules for. And unfortunately, the women don't get that same preferential treatment. So if we're talking equal, keep it equal. If preferential treatment is going to be on the men's side, then is there no such thing as preferential treatment on the women's side? If we're talking about these are the rules that Naismith made for basketball, keep the rules the same. They make these rules because they're showing preferential treatment for the LeBrons, for the, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to throw Kobe in there, rest his soul, but, all of these high profile, high caliber type of players, they're throwing the preferential treatment. But now you want to say lower the rims for women's basketball because it's going to make it more exciting. No, what makes women's basketball exciting is the team chemistry, is the fundamentals, is the passing, is the scoring ability. On the men's side, it's more I, but on the women's side, it's more we. And so that's what people want to see. Like, if it's a team sport, let it be a team sport. But the stuff that Shaq said probably pissed Candace Parker off because she's played basketball. Her and I actually were the same class. We came out the same class. She probably is upset because she's like, why make something that's supposed to be, it's basketball. This is what we're used to. We're used to the 10-foot rim. So you want to change it to a 9-foot rim just so everybody can come through dunking. But missing free throws because it's a whole football.
Airball free throws.
So I don't think you do that because nowadays there's much more training. There's so much more money involved in basketball in general that athletes are way more athletic than I can remember being when I was younger. And I remember us being good. Like, don't get me wrong, I remember our classes being good, but now when I see individuals playing, I'm like, if I had that skill set at that age, where would I be now? Not knowing that kid has had a trainer since they were 7 years old. That's something that wasn't afforded to me as a young basketball player. So I don't think you lower the rim because there are many more dunkers now coming up. You got the girl at Stanford. You got the girl at Kentucky. You got, I can name more than one school now to where there's a girl that can dunk a basketball. At one point in time, you could only name one for years. And that was who? Lisa Leslie. Then boom, Brittany Griner comes. No, I take that back. Snow comes along. Boom, okay, Michelle Snow. You let her, she dunks in the game. Then boom. Now you got Brittany Griner, who dunks in the game. But you look at the decades that's passed. But now you go and you look in college basketball right now, it's a whole lot more women that can do that. So I think it's an evolution thing. And I think that Shaq just doesn't want to see women's sports evolve the way that it should evolve. Because we're not going back to them ABA days with the men's basketball to where things were a lot different, where they didn't have a three-point line, where they didn't have, basketball on the men's side had to evolve. Think about how you had to move the three-point line back because everybody could shoot. So I just don't think that you make the adjustment to create a disadvantage that makes an advantage. I think that you create advantages that are something that makes the women's game successful. So, don't get me started on that. I could talk about it all night. I probably think that that's the reason that Candace Parker looked at him the way that she looked at him, because she's like, this is basketball. This is what I know. Don't change what I know. Exactly. So, and I failed to even mention her name, but you get what I'm saying? Like, there are multiple individuals that we can name that can, but But in the women's game, it's not gonna happen if there's real defense being played.
Right. And I feel like for me, when I think about it, I think like I don't like when people talk for the majority of viewers, because like Shaq, you're a big man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're used to that big man game, dunk, get the ball, dunk. It's so exciting. Everybody's screaming. But right now, people are loving Steph Curry. I seen Steph Curry dunk for the first time during the All-Star game.
And
you know what I'm saying?
He probably was like, what? He can dunk?
I love it like Damian Lillard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about the dunking. Like, dunking is not what will make people want the...
Not a real basketball.
It's not it.
Not a person.
The dunk contest was terrible during the All-Star game.
Awful. You know what?
Worst
We
event.
need to get rid of it because there's no more dunks out there. Like,
it was the worst event.
How many years has the dunk contest been around?
Right, because like at this point, I feel like a 10, not even a 10 anymore. You know, it's not really like you're right. There's no more dunks.
This is what I was saying with the athleticism evolving. Like people are doing tough dunks and they make them look so easy now that it's not
exactly. And that's why the real winner didn't win.
Right, because the first dunk was so easy looking too. And so this is what I'm talking about, the evolution. In that case, he want to lower the women's rim. They need to up the men's rim to 11 feet then.
Right. Because you need to
dunk contest. You get what I'm saying? So don't create what you consider an advantage for us, and then you don't want to look at your sport and say, what is something that's going to create more excitement? Because I fall asleep on more NBA games now than I ever have.
And you know what? On that note, now Shaq, that's a read, honey. Oh no.
That is a read. That is a read. No, that is a read because it's just not the same. The league is not the same.
It's not the same because they blow on LeBron now and it's a foul. When Jordan and them and the bad boys was around, it was no blood, no foul. KG, if you come through the lane and they hit you, they hit you. Like, and now flagrant 1, flagrant 2, they making everybody pussy.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But everybody's so wimpy now. Yeah. And I can't get with that. I can't get with it because I didn't grow up in the era to where you could be a wimp and make it. It was times where my mama would wake me up out my sleep and say, bring your scary ass outside. Let's get out here and hoop. Street lights are on. She's skinning my back and my knees and my elbows up. And she would tell me, oh, if you can't handle me, you ain't going to be able to handle them girls that's bigger and better than me because I ain't got it. But if you can't handle me, you damn sure not going to be able to handle them. That is why I feel like I'm as tough as I am today because of that lady. She didn't know what she was doing, but what she knew was she was going to make me tougher than everybody else. And that's why I just think that sports in itself are up and down because sometimes you get those tough individuals, sometimes you don't. And I just like seeing toughness. If it ain't tough, I don't want it. I don't want to watch it.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We would love to have you back another time, for real. It was
tell me when and I'll be there.
A great honor to get all of your insight and just for you to share your experiences with us as well and with everybody. And just from us talking to you right now, you definitely like encouraged us and give us a new respect for just women athletic coaches that have families, that have life outside of coaching, because, you know, not to just bash men or anything like that, because I don't want to do that, but you know, as a man, you can go home and not really, and, you know, do whatever you want to do. You don't have to go play mama. You know what I mean? So I really, that really brought me like a new respect for female coaches and females in general that's in have a professional setting where they have to, you know, be mom and then be professional and be coach at the same time. So we really appreciate you. We thank you so much. Happy Women's History Month because you making it.
Making it. You are a part of women's history, let me tell you.